Now, there's a very good chance you probably haven't heard of mesothelioma. It's a rare type of cancer. It is linked to asbestos or exposure to other fibres. And today is Action Mesothelioma Day. Well, very pleased that Paul Cook and his wife Jill are here. Paul was diagnosed with the illness, but is now in remission. And together they founded the charity Meso. Good to see you both this morning. And
Thank you.
The reason we are so pleased, Paul, is that mesothelioma is not curable, is it? I mean, it is normally, I hate to say it, but pretty much a death sentence for people when they get a diagnosis. So how are you here looking as well as you are?
OK, so it is considered to be a terminal cancer. The prognosis is usually and normally fatal. Typically, there is a life expectancy from anything from 12, maybe 18 months. I was diagnosed in 2017. Was very fortunate in some ways in the medical care that I had. I had my lining of my lung removed, part of my lung removed, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, more chemotherapy, and was lucky enough to be in remission. It doesn't mean that I'm cured. It is coming back at some point, which is why we actually founded the charity Meso to raise much needed funds for scientific research. But for the moment, touch wood, I'm in remission.
And it's linked to exposure to asbestos.
Yes.
So what were your particular circumstances?
Well, I don't know. In the old days, it was considered to be, frankly, an old man's disease. Dockers, construction workers and military. I don't know, maybe school, maybe an office, who knows? If we look at the research that's coming out, 9 out of 10 NHS hospital trusts have said they're operating hospitals with asbestos. It's in half of our primary schools. It's everywhere, and that's what people don't realise. So as to where, I don't know.
And from your position, Jill, I mean, obviously your husband, you've got a son, a young son as well. I mean, the devastating news that sort of prognosis brings, I can't begin to imagine. But it's amazing that you're trying really to turn this into a real positive, aren't you?
Yeah, we hope so. Paul has shown incredible resilience, really. From day one, even after the surgery, he came out the taxi, he could barely breathe, let alone walk, and he walked around the block and said, training starts today, because he's always wanted to do Land's End to John O'Groats. So, for him to be able to do this, it's been incredible. We've gone from one day of complete and utter devastation, just feeling completely destroyed with no hope, to today he's sitting here. So, you do have to find the positives, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's really important. I got diagnosed on, just after 11 o'clock on the 14th of November. And I remember being told we found some cancerous cells. And even then I was sort of, well, OK, so what do we do about it? Yeah. And then I got told, unfortunately, we're not very good at curing this one. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, there is no cure. I mean, your life has completely changed. And we were also told not to go online, don't Google it, etc. So the first thing you do, of course, is go online. Yeah. And then you effectively find out that you have a very short period of time to live. So one of the things that we're trying...
You were given a year, weren't you?
Well, it's difficult with timescales, but I was pretty late stage. So if you're late stages, it's, 55% of people die within 6 months and 40% of people die in the next 6 months. So the point of, for example, we're doing a cycle ride in September where we're cycling from Land's End to John O'Groats. There's 2 of us with mesothelioma that are doing it. And one of the reasons is to actually provide some hope. Because one of the things that when you're diagnosed is there is very, very little hope. You're pretty much told to prepare for the end. Whereas I would have given anything to see, me now, if you like, being in remission and show that actually it's not necessarily the immediate death sentence that you're told it is.
Yeah. And that is important to have that inspiration. As you say, Land's End to John O'Groats is certainly going to do that. What a thing to take on.
Particularly is that at one point you had to learn to breathe again.
Well, your diaphragm, it sort of stops working. So you're breathing with your shoulders, and when you're in hospital, obviously you've got oxygen, all the rest of it, but all of your core muscles, around your rib cage, your diaphragm, they don't work. So you have to do lots of exercises just to be able to breathe properly again.
I just wonder, from your perspective, Jill, you must, apart from sort of not believing your luck, in a way, that Paul is still here and doing so well, does it make you cherish every day
Absolutely.
a little bit more?
you can't take anything for granted. You do also become quite paranoid every time he coughs. You know, you worry. But like I said, we do feel like we have a responsibility to kind of, you know, raise awareness of mesothelioma. You know, there are 5,000 deaths a year. The UK's got the highest incidence of mesothelioma in the world, and there's no funding. So that's why, you know, we want to do this. And like I said, you know, hopefully it raise Meso.
Have you got a website?
We have erasemeso.org.
And you can sponsor Paul as well.
Yeah, thank you, sponsor Paul. Really good to see you.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very much.
much for having us.
Well, now to